What's up, guys? Sorry. This is the computer right here. All right. So, I want to talk tonight about something that I adapted in my life for so long. It's beliefs, right? To believe in something, right? And I think to believe is to hope. We don't know if it's real or not. For some reason, we're being told that to believe in yourself or in something, it's good, right? It motivates you, inspires you. It gives you, a different picture about the world. But does it really do that? Does it? Right? To believe in something, I think it's just a mechanism to cope with whatever's happening and to think that it's gonna get better by whatever thing. Sebastian, Felix, what's up? So it's just like me going to the shower, right? Say like, oh, I'm gonna go take a shower, and I know I'm gonna be clean, right? Coming from work, working out, I'm gonna take a shower. It's not an argument, I know it's gonna benefit me, right? Because I know. Because there's water involved, shampoo, soap, right? So it's not that I believe that I can be clean, right? Or I can be fresh. It's I know I'm going to be because it's something that you go through it. You do it all the time and you know it works. Period, right? Hi, what's up? So yeah, it's just like, might be short tonight, but yeah, I just like found out that beliefs are totally garbage, right? They totally confuse people more than they help, right? And I know we hear it all the time. Believe in yourself, believe it's gonna be, but it's not. It's not. It's just delays the outcome about something that it might not happen, right? And I think it's very important to know that it's nothing wrong to say, you know what? I don't want to believe. I want to know, right? I don't want to believe in something. I want to know what's going on, right? And to know, you don't need to question anything, right? Because you lived it. You go through it, right? And just an example, like war, right? How many of us is already tired of listening about war? What's up? Hi, how you doing? And how many of us it's tired? We're already tired about listening to what's going on in the war, right? We're not there. We don't know exactly what's going on, right? What we have, it's what? Social media platforms, news, right? Internet, that we have to rely on to know if it's truthful or not, right? And then along the way comes AI and makes the things a little bit more interesting. And it's hard to know the truth now, right? It is hard to know the truth. And yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That I think it gave me a relief, very satisfying, to know that I don't need to believe no more in anything. I don't need to believe in anything, right? It doesn't make you bitter. It doesn't make you unhappy. It doesn't make you a pessimist, right? Actually, it makes you optimistic, because to believe in something is to be programmed to follow something that has been followed by other people, right? All right, it makes sense to a certain extent. But then eventually we get tired, we grow up, we mature, we're a living being, and we start questioning things. Okay, when am I going to stop listening to other people and start listening to me, right? To ourselves. And it's not until we start listening to ourselves, we start knowing things, right? We don't no longer believe in something. Beliefs come from our family, from people outside, from ourselves, right? And to know something, it doesn't come from an outer thing. It comes from inside. We know it's true because it's happening to us. Period. Period. So, and you can apply this to anything, right, guys? It's hard to know, yeah. Everyone like it's hard to know, yeah. Well, it's hard to know. That's why everybody falls for belief systems. Because to know, you need to risk. To know, you need to put yourself out there. And that's the scary part, right? And anything that comes from fear is no good, right? So that's why belief systems, to believe in something, even in yourself. Oh, I believe in myself. It will not do any good to believe in yourself. You have to know yourself, right? I know I'm 5'10". I know I'm 5'11". I know I weigh this. I know my name. You have to know who you are. I know if I eat this, I don't feel good. I know, because then you have intention, right? You have intention. Everyone want like yes, I know. So, yeah, to know yourself, it's gonna be more risky. It's gonna be more scary, right? But it's worth it. It's worth it, right? Because everybody's responsible for itself, right? We have our own body, our own mind. So everything you do is gonna benefit you, right? Even if you know something that is truthful, you can share it, pass it on, right? That's the real knowledge, right? The knowledge that you know it works because you lived it, not because you were told that it works, right? You've been there, you tried it more than once, and it works, 100%, right? That's what it is. So, where am I going with this, right? Right? And what rough beast, it's our comrade last Bethlehem to be born. Okay, it's the Middle East. King Gunnar, what's up? So, yeah. And this should be not a negative, right? It should be positive. Right? Because at the end of the day, guys, you get tired of listening to somebody. You will get tired, not only bored, but you will get frustrated. Even though somebody has a truth, even though somebody is guiding you, right? A mentor, a teacher. But at the end of the day, you're gonna make a decision that you're gonna be on your own. And that's the scary part, right? Like somebody said it on the comments, like it's hard to know. Yeah, it is hard to know because you have to go through your answers. You have to go and live, and you might fail, right? The first time. You might succeed. You might have the beginner's luck. Who knows, right? But it's not until you do it, you will know. Get it? It's not until you do it, you won't know. Okay? So you can apply this to everyone. To dating, if it's so-called dating, jobs, right? Do you like your job? Or you're there for a paycheck, right? Do you like to be around your friends? Do you like this sport? Is because you think it's gonna benefit you for some reason. See, once you start taking that word, replacing it with knowing into believing, it changes everything, right? It changes your own perspective, everything. Changes your body language, your terms, your humor, your mood, everything. Because now it's not about hoping, it's about I need to know. I need to know, right? And you're already capable and able to go and research your own truth, right? Because you have your own body, your own mind, right? And it's not until you start knowing, you start understanding life. And you start understanding people, why they're unhappy, why they gave up, why happened. You start understanding a lot of things, right? A lot of things, right? And so yeah, and this time I'm gonna go a little bit, jump into this relationship thing, right? So a lot of young people, I get to know that I get to see in comments and other people's podcasts that they don't want to go out there and meet the opposite sex because they think it's rigged and it's corrupted. Women are trash for some reason, and I get it. There can be some, right, a factor playing in that, about that we're scared of the unknown. What's going to happen if I do this and I do that? But if you understand that the only way you're going to start growing, right, it's when you throw yourself into the unknown, right? You just go there because you want to know, right? But it's harsh because when you know, it hits you, right? You're in body and it's painful, or it can be exciting, right? So beliefs, it's a comfort mechanism that makes you comfortable where you at and doesn't allow you to go out there and literally go and live life, right? To believe in something is to give up in whatever you think it can be possible, right? Whatever you think that it can happen, you will never know until you make it happen, right? And it doesn't matter if it fails. That's part of knowing. That's the greatest thing about knowing. That you go out there, you travel, you go, you do whatever you need to do. Everybody's path is different. And you fail, you were not expecting it, but guess what? By default, you already gained knowledge. And that was the whole purpose about it, to gain knowledge, right? But at the moment, you're not gonna see it like that. All right? What's up, brother? Shakira. So at the moment, you're not gonna see it as a positive thing, because knowledge, it's not pleasure all the time. I'm gonna break it up a little bit, okay? Sometimes people, knowledge, for some reason, we relate it to pleasure. But it's not always the case, right? It's not always the case. Pleasure can bring knowledge, of course. It can bring knowledge. But also can inflict unnecessary pain, right? But that's a topic for another day. So going back to knowledge, when it's happening, we don't see it. Okay? Knowledge is not something that you can grasp at the moment. That's the confusing thing. This is why I've seen it with myself, right? I'm like, man, this is no good, because it's not giving me pleasure, right? And we think that if it's not giving you pleasure, that means it's negative. There's nothing good coming out of it. There's no gain, right? And that's wrong. That's the very wrong approach, because knowledge, it's neutral, right? Let me put it this way. So knowledge can be put in this. I'm going to illustrate it in another example. When you gain knowledge, right? It's like, how many of us remember when we had a painful toothache, right? It hurt, right? It hurt, and we don't want to do nothing about it. But we know that something's going on in our mouths. We go visit the dentist, right? And they say, you know what? You have a cavity or whatever. We have to pull it out. We need to do an extraction, right? And it's painful, but it will pay off. It pays off. You're aware of the pain. You're aware of the discomfort. But then you realize like, okay, this thing is not helping. This medication isn't helping. So they have to pull it out. One example, it's the wisdom tooth. There's a reason why they call it the wisdom tooth, right? Right? Pain has this ingredient that gives you that glow of enlightenment, right? I'm not saying go after pain, right? Because I'm going to have the people who are going to go to the extremes and say, okay, so that means I have to go through painful moments all the time. No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that when you encounter something painful, understand that it's not always negative, right? You have to embrace the pain to see the knowledge behind it, right? And it's a very effective thing, guys, to know something, right? When you know, you stop arguing about little things that used to bother you before, right? Because now you know. Now you know, and you allow people to speak their mind, and you understand that by disagreeing, it doesn't make it better, right? You still have an ear for it. You still listen. That's a great, quality to have. But to know, it's the only thing that gives you confidence, right? Confidence cannot be fake, right? I've heard, we all know the saying that fake it until you make it. And there's certain things that you cannot fake, right? There's certain things that you cannot fake. Knowledge is one of them. If you haven't been there, you don't know, right? If you haven't felt it, you don't know it. It might sound a little bit cliche, but it's not, right? It's not. If you claim that you've been to war and you haven't, obviously, we're gonna know. If you claim you can do surgery, but you don't, we're gonna know eventually. So to know, it's the only proof that you haven't hesitated to embrace life, right? Life, it's about knowing things, right? Whatever you know, nothing is greater or lesser than anything. Whatever you know, that's your thing, and you have knowledge. Knowledge is neutral, guys, right? From something picking up a rock, throwing it to the water, from making a space shift in fucking NASA, whatever, right? It doesn't matter. Knowledge is knowledge because you tried it, you had intention, and you know it works. Or you know it doesn't work because you've been there. Observation was engaged, right? So yeah, so this video, guys, is about like airline. No one asked, what's up? I've been in the army and served, will deserve storms. Okay, here we go, right? There we go. So there's always going to be people, aliens. Aliens, yes. That's another thing, right? Let's talk a little bit about aliens. So knowledge is neutral. So there's no specific topic or knowledge, right? So aliens, okay, people say they're real. Okay, my question will be, have you encountered one of them, right? They might say no, because I'm one of them. Okay, that's a good one. That's a good answer, right? If they haven't encountered an alien, because they're the alien, right? But then they're going to be targeted with another question, all right? You have to do what aliens do, or something that regular human beings don't do, so you can prove you're an alien. Right? So, yeah, knowledge, we think it's kind of like, it is a superpower that can be achieved through experience, right? It can be accomplished by making a decision that you want to do something with your body, with your mind. You have intention. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what it is. Crossing the street, right? When there's traffic. That can be something very simple. Saying, you know what? At this time, at this avenue, at this street, there's no traffic. That person is 1,000% sure, and he will put money on the table, right? There's zero traffic, zero cars at this hour. Because he knows it. Because he's been there. He's been there, right? So knowledge doesn't necessarily means you are a chemist, right? You necessarily need a PhD or something, but that doesn't regard as that it's not necessary, right? If you go to school, college, you have a master's degree, that's okay, right? Right? But knowledge is experiencing moment by moment, experiencing every moment on your flesh and bones. Never forget that, guys, right? Sometimes we think knowledge has to be a fancy, complicated answer, right? So to gain knowledge, it means that I need to read a lot of books? Not necessarily, but does books gives you knowledge? Of course, they do give you knowledge, right? Knowledge is just like the ocean. It's broad, right? Spacious, right? It has space for anything, right? Nobody knows how deep it goes until you go, right? And dive in, right? Into the pool of the unknown. Isn't that crazy? The unknown, right? You don't know, but the word is telling you that you won't know. You know? I know. I'm just, trying to make it a little bit more exciting. But yeah, guys. So the main reason I'm saying this because every time the cost of living is rising up, education, the loans become more complicated, the careers that you guys won, I won, is less obtainable. And we need to understand that knowledge doesn't come from studying other people's lives. It doesn't, right? It doesn't. All right, United States Army veteran, how you saw it, retired 23 years. Nice, right? 23 years, good number, right? I'm into numerology too, right? Yes. So yeah, knowledge, it's something that wherever you go, you will have it. So this is the thing, guys. This is the thing. Let's say there comes a day, I hope not, right? I hope not. But we have to be aware that we're living in very challenging times. Let's say internet goes off, the system shuts down, and the only thing you have is yourself, right? Your knowledge. Okay, there you go. That's the most valuable thing that you will ever have. Something that they cannot be taken away from you. That's the thing. That's the whole point about knowledge, that it cannot be taken away from you, right? The United States Marine Experimental Force retired after 25 years. Great. That's very good, man. Nice. Very good. We are full with beautiful people, guys. Don't get fooled by what a lot of people are doing to this flag, right? Don't get fooled, right? Don't get fooled, because corruption is just as natural. I'm going to repeat it again. Corruption is just as natural as bacteria in the food, right? When you cook food, right? Cross-contamination, whatever. So chefs know this, right? I'm not a chef, but I've cooked before. So we understand that everything needs a temperature. There's certain ingredients that they have to be raw. They have to be frozen, because they spoil, they go bad. Okay, let's say it like that. So you cannot blame a vegetable for going rotten. You cannot blame an ingredient for going bad just because it was exposed to oxygen. It was exposed to a temperature that didn't survive, right? It couldn't keep up with its freshness, right? So it's gonna spoil, it's gonna go bad, right? So in itself, it's just the nature of things. It's just the natural cycle about that. Every, I don't know how many years, but every time we need to clean house, right? It's very important, right? And I know I don't want to go into politics, but it's very important that we need to know that just in our houses, we clean the house, right? And you can apply that metaphor into our higher corporations, right? Because that's the way it is. You cannot get mad because that's just draining of energy. You cannot get mad at corruption because corruption is just a natural thing. Once you're already aware of it, you're already 70% on top of the average man who already saw corruption, right? What will be the next step? It's the people who have been detecting the corruption. They have to stick together and have intention to fix the problem, right? That flag sucks. I know. It might be representing the wrong stuff now, but 300 years ago, 400 years ago, something like that, it didn't represent that. It represented something else. That's what I'm talking tonight about knowledge. That knowledge is to know something, to be aware of something because you lived it, right? You've been there. You've been there. Okay? On the other hand, beliefs is something that has been passed on from other people that you have to prove it if they're right or wrong. And that takes time, right? It takes time, energy, right? That's why I took that word from my daily programming and I replaced it with knowing. I want to know something. I don't want to believe in something, right? To believe in something is to put it up in a pedestal, right? Like you cannot achieve it. like it's far from you. To know, that means you're already capable, enabled, equipped to go and explore and discover your truth, right? And then once you discover it, regardless if it's failure or success, now you know. And that's the whole point. That's the whole point about knowing. That nobody's gonna tell you that. It's something that you're gonna tell yourself. Okay, it didn't work. Knowledge right there, right? That's knowledge. So, yeah, guys, it's been working for me. I share it with my family and friends, and of course, a lot of people are gonna, come back with their own, opinions, theories, and that's okay. That's the whole point. That's the whole point. That knowledge, is it hard? I would not say it's hard. It can be scary because you don't know the outcome of things, right? So you have to throw yourself out there, right? But other than that, knowledge is the only thing that gives you confidence, right? It gives you confidence because you can't fake it. You cannot fake everything, I used to believe that fake it until you make it. It does work, But once you're dealing with people who are already aware of what's going on, it doesn't work no more, right? It only works with people who are really, really ignorant and sleepers, right? And I mean, who wants to deal with that people all the time, right? It doesn't make life exciting or meaningful. It doesn't, right? So knowledge gives you back the authority that beliefs are taken from you. When you believe in something, you're giving your authority to whatever you believe in. Because you don't know. You're just trying the hardest to hope that everything's gonna be okay. And that's why you believe in something. You're giving your energy away. Okay? To know, you're still giving your energy away, but it has intention that relies on you only and nobody else. And that's the whole point. Knowledge, it's individually, right? Autonomous. I'm going to repeat it again. Knowledge is autonomous, right? It only comes from you. People might share their opinions, their own knowledge. That doesn't mean that you have to accept that knowledge, right? That doesn't mean you cannot accept it. You can agree with him because yes, you might say, yeah, he's right because I lived it. You know what? I agree with you because I've been in that situation, right? That's the beauty about knowledge. That when you gain knowledge, you can network with your own people in a very effortless way, without competing, without power struggle, because both parties, they know, and you respect that. You respect somebody that knows, right? You respect that. It's just inevitable because you know that he had intentions and he lived. If he knows something, that means that he went through something. And when you go through something, you will be different. You'll be different. You will have your own story. And when you have your own story, you can relate to people, right? And this is how we change the world. We create a ripple effect. When everybody cultivates their own garden, they have their own knowledge, it creates a ripple effect, right? And this is how we create change. Not by creating belief systems, right? But allowing people to get their own knowledge, right? That's how we create real profit change, right? This is how we do it. Not by telling people what to do, that's belief systems. But allowing people, whatever they do, so they can know on their own, right? and come back with their own answers. Right? That's the beauty about being individually, right? I believe in family. Don't get me wrong. I believe in family, right? But knowledge is something that is achieved, something that has to be walked alone, right? Nobody can hold your hand when you are on your way to gain knowledge. Nobody can hold your hand, right? And I think that's the part that we as people are afraid of, because it's a path that's going to be on our own. It's going to be a lonely path, but only temporary though, right? Because knowledge, it's a family concept. When you have knowledge, along the way, you're going to meet people, okay? That's the beauty about knowledge. When you gain knowledge, because you have experienced it on your own flesh and bones, people are going to see it. People are going to talk to you. People are going to approach you, right? It's just natural, by default. That's the beauty about it, right? Being at your house, isolated all the time, can be restricted, right? You can still tap into your own knowledge, but knowledge to be achieved and lived to a fullest potential, it has to be by walking it, right? By moving yourself to wherever you need to go, right? It's not about staying in one place. It's about going to a place that you don't know, but you have to go. You have to go and check it out, you know? So at the end of the day, guys, I'm gonna wrap it up with this. Beliefs, listen carefully, guys. Beliefs are restricted with fear, right? They instill fear in people. Knowledge is neutral. It's nothing to fear. But to obtain knowledge, you cannot have fear. Get it? It's easy to believe in something because it creates comfort, right? There's no fear because, oh, I can believe in that and I'm going to be okay. But that it's not going to give you growth. It's not gonna give you the knowledge that your body and soul needs, okay, to sustain life in this earth. But when you decide that you want to stop believing in something and you want to start knowing something, this is when you start taking action and you start becoming the hero, not only of your own movie, but the hero that we all need in this planet, right? Nothing's stopping you but yourself, guys. Good night.